That's his birth name is Green. How did you get that name Green?
Huh?
How'd you get named Green?
I don't know. My granddad.
Your granddad did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he is named that.
Oh, his name was Green.
Yeah.
Was he Green Washington?
I don't remember his other name.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, this is December 22nd, 1987. This is Joe Todd, an interview with Mr. Green Washington Cannon in Sulphur, Oklahoma. Sir, where were you born?
I was born about 4 miles of Gilmer, Texas.
And when's your birthday?
August 29th,
What year?
1892.
18.
I guess two.
Who was your father?
Jack Cameron.
And your mother?
My mother, Frances.
What was her maiden name?
Huh?
What was her name before she was married?
Before I was born,
Before she was married?
oh, Bradshaw.
Bradshaw. What type of work did your father do?
Is farmer.
Farmer. How long did you live down there by Gilmer? How many years?
Well, I was born 4 miles of Gilmer. I lived there about 4 years and moved up part Shady Grove, Texas.
Shady Grove, Texas.
Yeah.
Did you move up there to farm?
I farmed some up there, yeah.
What chores did you do in the farm when you were a small boy?
Well, I plowed with a Georgia stock, I was about 6 years old and I plowed with Georgia stock.
Now, what's Georgia stock?
It's a little plow with 2 handles and
How did you plow with a horse or a mule?
or mare.
A mare.
Yeah.
How many acres could you plow with that horse?
Well, I don't know. I plowed many acres.
What crops did you raise in those years?
Oh, we raised cotton and corn and ribbon cane down on the bottom and ribbon cane.
You ever chop cotton?
Yeah,
How do you chop cotton?
the hoe.
Now, when you say chop cotton, what do you do?
Well, you just thin the cotton out and the grass and stuff out of the cotton.
How many pounds could you pick in one day?
Well, the most I ever pick is 400,
That's pretty good.
but I didn't pick that all the time. I was running a race with my brother. He could pick 500 or 600.
How big's that cotton sack?
Oh, it's about, well, I guess about, it's quite, you could get 100 pound in it anyway. It's long, you see.
And how'd you carry that sack?
Well, when it gets full, I just throw it on my shoulder.
I mean, when you were going down the row,
I pulled it as a string around my,
Where was the gin?
huh?
Where was the gin?
Gin.
Yeah, the cotton gin.
Well, it was one in Shady Grove where I went in East Texas. Is I don't know just where that was because I was pretty young when I left there.
Do you remember who ran the gin?
Huh?
Do you remember who ran the gin, the man's name?
My dad used to run a gin, and he got his fingers cut in the gin, you know, ginning, and his dad owned the gin. My granddad.
Did you ever work in that gin?
Me, I was too little.
Okay. When did you move to Oklahoma?
Oh, I was about 14 years old. Now, I'm 95 now. You can figure it out.
About 1904 or 5?
Yeah.
What?
We left there about left East Texas about 1904 or 5
How'd you travel to Oklahoma?
in a wagon.
In a wagon?
My father and I, we went through in a wagon, and the youngsters, they went, and my mother went on the train.
Where did you settle in Oklahoma?
Sal.
Yeah, where did you live in Oklahoma?
Well, I lived in Oklahoma after statehood, there at Aldous.
Is that where the family settled? Did you
Oh.
move from Texas to Altus?
Well, we moved to eastern Oklahoma first for statehood, and then we moved to Aldous. Stayed there 1 year and moved to Aldous.
What part of eastern Oklahoma?
Eastern Oklahoma.
Yeah, what part did you settle in first? What
Oh.
town?
Oh, there close to Aldous.
No, in eastern Oklahoma. You said you lived there 1 year.
Yeah. Well, we lived there close to Loco.
Can you tell me about the wagon trip?
Yeah. Well, Dad and I went through in the wagon, and I got on to open the gate for him one time, and he kept on going, and I didn't know what was going to strike him or not. I was a little, I finally caught up with the wagon. My dad kept driving.
Can you tell me what you packed in the wagon for the trip?
Well, just some bedding, and we carried a table, a dining table. That's and some bed and stuff.
What food did you take with you?
Huh?
What food did you take with you?
Well, we just buy it on the road.
Oh, you bought it on the road.
Of course, carried some stuff from home, you know.
How long did the trip take?
14 days.
14 days. Where'd you sleep?
Slept in the wagon, under the wagon. Just made a bed down where I wanted to.
And where would you camp at night? Where would you stop?
Well, sometimes out in the country, sometimes in town. If we got to town, if we didn't get to town, we'd stay out in the country.
Now, will you tell me what maintenance you had to do on the wagon to keep the wagon working?
We had to grease it, and we had it in good shape when we started, so we didn't have no trouble with it.
How do you grease the wagon?
Huh?
How do you grease the wagon? What do you do?
How
do you grease the wagon?
Oh, you unscrew the tap for the wheel, you know, and pull it out a little way and put the grease on the fennel, on
On the axle?
well, on the spindle, on the axle.
What do you use to loosen that nut?
Huh?
What do you use to take that nut off?
We used Well, you know where the
Single tree?
single, no, double tree.
Double tree.
Where it went down, it goes through the double tree in the tongue there and held the double tree on. Had to take that off and the grease take the taps off. Well, it is it had a doing sure to take the taps off, and the long went through the hole, so it was regular.
How did you keep the tires tight on the wheels? How did you keep the tires tight on the wheels?
Well, we had them tied before we left, taken to the black shop, the Smith shop, and they, if they was loose on they taking something other and pushing the tires there and make it tight.
You ever soak the wheels in water?
Well, we have, yeah.
Why did the family move to Oklahoma?
Well, my granddad lived out in Oklahoma. It wasn't Oklahoma then. It's for statehood. My granddad lived out there, my mother's dad, and they wanted us to move out there.
Do you remember Statehood Day?
Yeah.
Tell me about that day.
Well, boy, it's been so long I couldn't.
Was there a celebration that day?
Huh?
Was there a celebration that day?
I can remember when I was, before I was 2 years old.
What do you remember?
See, my mother used to breastfeed us, you know, and so I got up one morning before, after they, you know, up and on, and I was hungry, and I wanted mother to go behind the door and let me nurse. She said, "Young mother, let's wean you." Well, I remember that just as plain, because I remember wanting to go behind the door, some neighbors came, I was ashamed to nurse before them.
How large was the town of Altus when you moved there?
It's a small town.
What did Main Street look like?
Huh?
What did the Main Street of Altus look like?
Boy, it's pretty rough, and if it rains, you got them mud holes, you couldn't get out hardly.
Did you have a farm near Altus?
No, we had a farm in East Texas, sold it, and went to Altus. They rented out there.
Okay, did you rent a farm?
Huh?
Did you rent a farm near Altus?
Yeah, my dad did.
What crops did you raise there?
Well, we raised cotton and corn and feed, other kind of feed. And I don't think we raised it. Seemed like we raised some goobers.
Where did you start to school?
Where did I start school? Shady Grove, Texas.
Shady Grove, Texas. And did you go to school in Altus?
Huh?
Did you go to school in Altus?
Well, I went to, when I got up to higher, I went there close to, well, it wasn't Alice, close to Alice, the schoolhouse. Oh, I can't think of that place where we used to live once I was little.
Martha?
No, it was It's close to Alice down there.
Old Lusty?
There's twin. They're close to Aldous, so
Yeah. Okay.
wasn't no Lustin and Martha either. Blair. From them old building places.
Did you go to school in a one-room school
Yeah.
building?
We did, yeah.
Can you tell me how the one teacher handles all the different grades?
Well, she'd teach us on the grade we was in, and then she'd go and teach others.
Did you go through high school?
No, I just went to, I think it was a 6th or 7th grade.
When did you join the Army?
1917.
1917. Did ever hear about Pancho Villa in Mexico?
Huh?
Ever hear about Pancho Villa in Mexico? You know, the Mexican?
Yeah,
They sent General Pershing to Mexico to chase him.
yeah. I've seen Jim Pershing,
You have.
yeah.
Where did you take your basic training?
Well, we went to San Antonio, then back to close to Aldous there.
Well, Fort Sam Houston?
No, it's oh shoot! If you hadn't asked me, I don't know.
Would you tell me about your basic training? What type of training did they give you?
Boy, they train you hard and make you, well, they give us, I think I was trained in about 5 months before we went across over in fall. But they trained us pretty hard.
Yeah. What type of specific training did they give you? Like bayonet training or calisthenics, marching?
Marching and taking exercise, and well, they really trained us hard.
What type of weapon did you train with? What type of rifle?
I had a Brownie machine gun,
Oh, a BAR?
but I had a 45 in my belt and a bolo knife when I went to front, but first dead man I seen up there before we got from the front line is a German, and they had a tomahawk stuck in his head. He's sitting up in a shell hole dead, you know. And then went on down the valley there, and there's a German just thick dead, you know. He had to jump over him to get by. Then a little further on, there's a miracle the same way. He had to, and so we just hiked all that day. That's on the Hindenburg line, and then hiked all over and come to the German stable, and so the officers wanted to see if any mines in there before they put us in there, and stopped out there and I laid my tripod down and it was raining. Boy, I was all in. I just went to sleep and that rain in my face. And after they come back and told us, woke us up and told us to go to those stables and stay there till we got something to eat. We didn't get nothing to eat that day. And so about 8 o'clock that night, they brought us something up there to eat. And then we started, then back to the front. And so got to Hindenburg, and they turned us back and stayed there 4 days. And when I went to front, I was sick, but I went on anyway. And I carried my tripod. It was 45 pounds, and I had 27-pound pack on my shoulder. I had a pretty good load. And we hiked, well, the Germans, they come to shell us pretty close and we hiked on up there closer. And when we quit, our captain, he's an old regular, and the major wanted to stop down the ravine way from there. And so a captain fought he's an old regular, fought in the Philippines, and he put us right on up the front. And we was up, our company, the machine gun company, is up there, and the Germans are right down there in the lower part. You can see them. And so I seen the time I would give that from my life, but I stayed up there and done my job. And
Were you a gunner on the BAR?
huh?
Were you a gunner with the Brownie?
Yeah. I was #1 gunner. I was in the first squad.
What unit were you a member of?
Huh?
What unit were you a member?
That was 1917.
No, I mean, what division were you in?
Oh, 36.
36th Division.
Yeah.
What machine gun company? What was the number of the company you were in?
Oh, our company.
Yeah.
Well, there's two companies in our squad, but most of them had 4 companies in them.
Okay.
But we just had 2. It's an A company and B company, and I was in B company.
B company of what battalion were you a member? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't think I do.
Mm-hmm. What ship did you go to France on?
Leonard P.
How do you spell that? You know?
This Leonard P. Is an old freighter that they'd captured and made a ship for the troops to go in.
How many men were on that ship?
Huh?
How many men were on the ship?
Oh. Whole company, I don't know just how many now, but I know they had canvas for our bed, and they had just barely could go through the little lane, back and forth. and it's crowded so, and I was 3 days underwater
You got seasick?
down there. And when I was sick and I couldn't stay there, and I made my bed up there in the lunchroom and slept up there. I couldn't stay down there. It's foul, boy. It's rotten down there.
What kind of food did you have from the ship?
Boy, didn't have it.
How many days did it take?
They fed us some rotten beef when we first got up there and give us all diarrhea. And I couldn't eat anything, just, but I stayed with them. I didn't, but some of the boys, they got afraid and they went back, done something to get back in the back line, but I went on up the front.
How many days did it take to get to France?
We was about 14 days going
14
over.
days. And where did you land?
Brest.
Brest? What did the town look like, the town of Brest?
Well, it's been so long since I've been there, it didn't look very big then.
And did you go from there straight to the front?
No, we went to Fontaine, France, about, I forget how many kilometers we hiked over there and stayed there a little while.
From Fontaine, where'd you go?
Well, and when we left there, we went to the front.
What part of France was the front located at that time?
Huh?
Where was the front located at that time?
Oh, it seemed to me like the northeast we was going.
What battles were you in? Were you involved with?
Yeah. Well, I was up there at we first went in line there on the other side of the Driftwood. I stayed up there under the front 21 days, one time. Boy, I didn't feel like, when I come out, I couldn't talk above a whisper. I got gassed. We got gassed. And
Tell me about being gassed. What's it like?
boy, it's poison gas. And it's different kind of gas. Some of it, get on you, blister you, know. But some of it pour in your lungs and kill you there. And I got enough.
What type of gas did you have?
Huh?
What type of gas did you have?
Gas.
Yeah, you said that you were gassed.
Well, is that there fluorine gas, I think, is something like that. It's been so long I forgot.
Was that in the Meuse-Argonne?
But Meuse-Argonne, went up there, and we went, when we left, got up there, first we had to, the Germans was down there just dead, they'd kill. We'd have to jump over and get on by, and then a little further on, the Americans, the same way, and
What were you doing when you were gassed?
I was up there at the front, and I couldn't, just got gassed. About a few up there at the front, you could tell the gas shells when they come over, the sound of them, the high explosion.
Would you describe the inside of a trench?
We didn't have no trenches.
You didn't have trenches.
No. We just, when we got up, left the States, I didn't see any more trenches on this part that you'd dig down. I mean, when we first went up there, at night, we dig a place and put our bed in there. The first night up there, I didn't sleep in it, and all the boys the same way. And we'd pair off and dig a hole big enough for two to sleep in there. But we didn't do much sleeping, as much shooting.
How far were the German lines from the American lines?
Well, you could, where we was at, up there on the Argonne, and the Meuse-Argonne, well, you could see the Germans down there below. When they pulled out, why, we was up there on the hill there to see, but when they found out we was up there close, we was in a little we had our gun in a rose bush, big rose, and had it put in there, and we could use it, we could see over, you know. And but the Germans, they's thick, and they thought we was down in kept us down there below, but the captain put us up on the part the front closer, and we could see the Germans just the same. See them when they pulled out and retreating.
Would you tell me exactly what you did in the Meuse-Argonne, in the battle? What happened?
Well, I was number one gunner. I don't know what we all. First night we went up there, our corporal that morning before we started, before daylight, they taken their gun and cleaned it, knowing there's 27 pieces in the lock, and they got the cocking lever in backwards, and when we got up front, and we tried it, and it wouldn't shoot, you know, that the cocking lever's in the wrong. And I said, let me have it and get somebody to dig this place for the machine gun. And boy, it wasn't, I just started to tear that lock down and find out they had the cocking lever in backwards. So I fixed it and it shoot. So.
How'd you carry your ammunition?
Huh?
How did you carry your ammunition?
Well, in the belt is all carried around the shoulder, and a lot of it, some of it they had to go in the box, and number 2 or 3 gunners take that, but I had to take the tripod, the gun and tripod on me.
What size?
We stayed there a few days and asked the Armistice sign.
Did you celebrate that day?
Boy, we all, I didn't celebrate, but we all hollered and hooped around, glad. And when we come back to state there, says, well, it's glad to see you boys back. I said, I'd like to see you went on into Germany. I said, there's been many of us got back if we'd went on into Germany. But it's closed, you know.
Were the go ahead.
Huh?
Were the Germans good soldiers?
Yeah, they're pretty good soldiers. Some of them, just like the Americans.
What's your best memory of the war?
Well, I remember the whole thing.
What's your worst memory of the war?
As far as up at the front.
What happened?
Well, when I first went up there that night, we had to dig a place for a machine gun, and so we fixed that, and I got relieved that night till the morning. I said I was daytime the machine gun, and so I got relieved and went. We dug his place and tried to sleep while the Germans had a place hole dug, had water in it, and we had to dip it out and make the bed down in that mud. But we didn't sleep much.
Did it rain much over there?
Boy, it rained every day nearly.
Describe the mud.
Yeah, just,
Well, what's the mud like over there?
huh?
What is the mud like in the battle?
Mud?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, it's just mud and rain, but the roads, they had them blacktop, and that's what we had to do after Armistice. In 5 months, had to build the roads back where they tore up, help them. We should have done it, but they made us. I just sure didn't like it.
How many men in your company were killed?
I don't know. Several of them got gas and like I did.
What does that gas smell like?
Boy, it take your breath and lungs. Boy, it hurt and burn you. And then they had different kinds of gas. Had gases to hit you and blister you, and they had this other fluorine gas as poison. It killed you if you got too much of it.
How much does the pack weigh that you carry on your back, your backpack?
My tripod weighed 45 pounds, and my pack, it weighed 27.
How many crew members did you have with the Brownie?
Huh?
How many in the crew to fire the Brownie?
Well, I guess it trained all of them down with us, but out in the front up there, the front lines, I mean, and I don't know.
If the tripod weighs 45 pounds, how much did the Brownie weigh? The gun.
Oh, you know, I forgot, but it's pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty long.
Did you carry it too?
No, I didn't carry it.
Who carried it?
Some of the guys back behind, I don't know who wrote it. But they, so I got up there and I put the tripod down while the guy had the gun. They put it connected on the tripod while we was digging places forward.
What were you thinking when you first went into battle? What were your thoughts?
I just thought I'd never get out, but I'd go on and when I first seen them Americans laying out there, I just seemed like I wanted to go and get the fight then. I didn't want to get going back to the lines. I wanted to fight, seeing all the Americans dead, laying there dead. And I knew that I wouldn't come out alive, but I wanted to go on anyway. When you're with a bunch, you think lots of it, you try to help keep them going too much. Too many of them get killed.
You okay?
Huh?
You feel okay?
Yeah, my mouth's dry.
Want a glass of water?
No, that's all right.
Did you join the National Guard?
No, when the Army in 17, they drafted us. The National Guards, they have been on the border, and they come up from the with and put in with them.
So, when did you return to the States?
Well, we stayed over in France a year. I think it was 18 something when we come back.
What ship did you return on?
Well, we went over on the Lenape and come on back on the Petition.
On the Petition?
Yeah.
Where did you land in the States?
Well, you mean in the States?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we got off the train, we was in Dallas.
No, I mean, what ship?
Huh?
Where did you land the ship? What port did you
Oh,
land?
Brest, France.
Okay. And then when you returned, did you land in New York?
Well, we was at New York in just a few days. I don't know.
Did you pass the Statue of Liberty?
Huh?
Do you remember passing the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
Well, it's got a big monument out there, you know.
Were you glad to see it?
Yeah. Well, I say we was also glad that when the boat landed, we got we tried on the side where the unloading, and the ship come a second, they made us get back. So, just a few at a time, you know. Well,
So you went by train to Dallas?
Huh?
You went by train to Dallas, Texas?
Yeah, we went there and got a big dinner. See, I trained up in Fort Worth and got a big dinner. And I was married, but my wife, she was working. She didn't come to meet me. I thought she'd be over at Dallas to meet me, but she didn't. She didn't. She was up there at anyway, she's taking a course up there in that, what do they call it?
Is it in Dallas?
No, in Fort Worth.
TCU? Texas Christian University?
No, it's a university, but They called it different then. What was they called it?
Friendship University?
No.
No.
Any one of the best college there.
Mm-hmm.
She taken the course there while I was over in France. Yeah, we'd been married about 5 months when I went over.
Did you train at Camp Logan?
Huh?
Did you train? Did you train at Camp Bowie?
Boy, yeah.
Bowie, in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Tell me some more about your training there. You know, how many men were at Camp Bowie?
How many hot?
How many men were at Camp Bowie?
Well, we just had 2 companies in our outfit, but most of the outfits had 4 companies, and the infantry had 4 companies. But the machine gun, 131st Machine Gun just had 2 companies, and 132nd had 4 companies.
And you were in 131st?
Yeah.
I was going to ask, what type of food did you have in France?
Boy, when we landed, they fed us some rotten meat, and we did like to kill all of us. We had the diarrhea, boy. So we had to dig a place to shit in, and so one of the Claude Duke, he's a captain's orderly. He wasn't much of a soldier. He couldn't. And so he taken shifts one night, did up two stores in the where they built us, in the old mill, and there was 2 stores high, and he shit all over himself, and the creek run right under this, and it's cold. Well, he went down and washed off. And he told us about it after. He said his water sure wasn't cold. But I don't know. It's pretty good, deep. When we first started the line, though, when we left there to go to the front, the old boy had a motorcycle had 2 or 3 motorcycles, and one of them had done the shed as it raining, and when they got ready to start, well, he gave too much, he went right down that creek, and the boy he went around, and of course they had to dry it out and run it, pull it a long ways. We pulled it a long ways when we left for getting started. It was wet. That old boy, boy, he rolled it around and turned it, but we had to get him out.
What type of food did you have on the front?
Just hard water. I guess it wasn't much food.
Well, you have K rations?
Huh?
You have K rations or?
They call it ration, but it wasn't much rations.
What exactly was it?
Huh?
What type of food did you have on the front?
It wasn't good. I don't know. They tried to feed us some meat, spoiled, and we couldn't, the killing made us all sick. And up there we had rations in a handbag, and we just eat that cold stuff. You couldn't cook it up there at the front.
So tell me some more about the war.
Boy, so much of it I couldn't tell you all of it. I get it kind of mixed up, but sure.
Was the hand-to-hand fighting rough?
Huh?
Was the hand-to-hand fighting very rough?
Well, we didn't have that. We had that machine gun back there, you know. I guess it was there, but we was right on the front, though. You can see the Germans down in below there. When they pulled out, well, they had pulled out in a hurry, but next day or two, the arm was fine. But I was up there 21 days. I wouldn't give that for my life, because shells, if you up there, you can tell the high explosion shells from the gas shells.
What's the difference?
Well, the different sounds. Sounds, you know, up in the air coming, you could tell.
What does a gas shell sound like?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's been so long, but the high explosion seemed like it's louder than the others. You know, others are whining gas shells.
So, what did you do when you came back to the States?
Well, I was nearly dead with the appendicitis, and they wanted to operate on me before we loaded on the boat, and I told them I come over with it, I don't want to go back. And when they come back, why, the next day they carried me to the hospital and operated on me. I got a big gash there where it cut in, but I've been operated on about 14 times so in my stomach.
Did you go back to farming?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I went wholesaling.
Where?
But I didn't do anything for 6-8 months because I wasn't able to just come out of the hospital. But my dad's farming up there at Shady Grove, and I went up there and helped him after. I know. I got up there and it's wheat. There's a threshing wheat, and my dad had a load of wheat there in the elevator, and I had to let me drive out, and he got his foot under the wheel, and boy, it just mashed his toes all to pieces nearly, and I know it's some time before I went back to farming. But
So you ever think about the war much?
no, try to forget it.
Well,
I think about my buddies and things like that. I know some of them, but most of them's dead now.
anything else you want to talk about?
Huh?
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I guess not.
Yeah. Okay, well, Mr. Cannon, I think we have a good interview.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But
Let me.
I remember I used to have some good times over there in Shady Grove, along there. When I went to Alice, I had a buggy and a horse. Well, I had several horses, and but I had a really good buggy horse. He could, when last game I used to play ball. Last game I played, the Miller, he is a pitcher from up north there, and I knocked a home run off of him for that, and so I hit the ball, and boy, it broke my nose, and I was about 4 miles to Gilmer, Alice, and so they put me in my buggy and the driver for my horse. My nose bled. I had to hold keep him bleeding to death. We got to Alice. We got there and the doctors packed it, and that morning, and then that evening they started taking it out and finished bleeding again. They put it back in there the next day, and I had a time.
So, how about the Depression of the 1930s?
Huh?
The Depression of the 1930s?
Yeah.
How'd that affect you? You know, the dirt storms?
You mean the Depression?
Yeah.
Oh. I know it's pretty bad, but I don't remember all about it.
Yeah.
But I know it's bad. We couldn't do much.
Yeah. Okay, well, Mr. Cannon, thank you.